Look at this dude.
What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hey man, if you haven't already done so, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, smash the like button, leave a comment, click that bell so you could be a part of the Post-robbery gang family, best family on YouTube. No cap, hands down. Hey man, we are here for Ray William Johnson. He pulled the biggest robbery in U.S. history. Damn, I wonder how much we're talking. We're gonna do less talking, more reacting. Let's dive right into this video. Lego.
So this guy's about to steal $18 million, and he just might get away with it. Now the guy's name is
18 mil, bro. If I got my hands on 18 mil, I'm disappearing, bro. I'm changing my whole identity and everything.
Alan. And Alan, he's around 28 years old when this story starts, living in Los Angeles, and bro works at an armored depot. So he's surrounded by cash all day, moving in and out of the building. Here's the thing about Alan working around all this cash. He's the kind of guy who really wants to be rich. So it's
don't we all?
Only a matter of time before he wants to take some of this cash. And that is exactly what happens. One day in 1997, he comes up with an idea. Why not just rob his employer? And so he gets to work on this plan.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know how I would act working around that much cash on a daily basis like that, bro. Like, I ain't gonna cap. I'm gonna be like, they're not gonna notice 1,000 missing from the stacks. So what? You feel me? Like, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not saying do it. I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying I don't know how I would react if I was in that situation. That's all I'm saying, y'all.
He starts doing reconnaissance. He's like studying the building's floor plans. He's getting familiar with all the security camera locations. He's figuring out how to get into the vault. He even allegedly brings a camera to work and starts taking pictures, pretending like, oh, I'm just like taking some photos of my work colleagues, when in reality, he's taking pictures of the layout. But all that recon is not enough to pull off a heist this big.
Yeah.
Alan knows that he can't do this alone, so he recruits 5 of his friends to go along with him. And
that's too many people involved, man. It only takes one person to snitch, rat, or mess up the whole plan, and then you screwed.
This operation is so ragtag, so low budget, he literally meets up with these 5 friends in a parking lot, and he draws a diagram of the whole facility on the pavement using street chalk. Like, you guys enter through this door, and I'll enter through this door. It's crazy. But whatever. Now the plan is all coming together. And they set an official date that this is all gonna go down. In the meantime, Alan is still working at this job at the armored depot. And he's getting up and he's going to work every day and he's just acting normal, trying not to make anyone suspicious. But as
don't be suspicious.
The date gets closer to heist day, something unexpected happens. One day, boom, he gets fired. Allegedly, he was playing a prank on his coworker and like messing with some of his work vehicle or something. I'm not really sure if that's true.
Bro, how are you gonna be playing pranks on employees when you're about to go ahead and rob 18 mil from your job? And then you get, bro.
Regardless, he gets
that should have been a sign from above to walk away from this whole mission you got planned in your head, bro.
Fired. Now, this screws his whole robbery plan all up. Part of his plan was to use his set of company keys to get through some of the doors of the building. But now that he's fired, he's expected to turn those keys in right away. So how's he gonna get into the building now? Well, bro is not gonna give up quite yet. He's still determined to rob this place.
I feel like he's gonna try to take the keys somewhere to get them remade when you're not. I don't think you're even technically able to do so. I think it's against the law. Like usually like keys like that, it'll have like some sort of print or something on there to where you can't duplicate the key. You feel me? But I feel like he's gonna figure out a way to do so.
Get rich. So he comes up with a slightly different plan. Instead of turning those company keys in right away, he hangs on to them for an extra day or so, and he moves the date of the robbery forward. He's like, guys, we need to pull off this heist tomorrow. And so tomorrow comes. And he and his crew...
Man, that was your chance to abort mission, bro. You are literally going to be the first suspect when $18 million is missing and you just got fired. They're going to connect the dots, bro.
They get together. And I gotta say, for just a gang of regular dudes, they've actually got all this planned out pretty well. I mean, keep in mind that none of them have ever been in trouble with the law before. Like, this heist is actually their first attempt at crime. And so anyway, first, they go to a
I do not like the sound of that.
big house party in Long Beach. And they're there and they're hanging out, they're talking to people, socializing. They're trying to make sure people see them there because they're trying to establish an alibi. And after they're there for a few hours, they slip away from the party one by one. And they all put on black clothes and ski masks, and they grab
No face, no case.
their weapons, and they all get into a U-Haul truck that they had.
I just feel like what's gonna end up happening is one of these guys gets caught, caught, and rats, bruh. I just feel like that's what ended up happening.
Then they head over to the armored depot. Once they get there, Alan uses his key to get into the building. Now, I told
You are literally gonna be prime suspect, bro. You get fired, you held onto the keys, and now 18 mil is gone.
you they got all this planned out pretty well. Alan actually made sure to time all this so that they would be breaking into the place around the same time all the employees there are taking a meal break, so that all the workers are in the cafeteria at the same time. That way they won't have to hunt them all down one by one. And so this is where shit really goes down. Because then, boom, Alan and his goons bust into the cafeteria and they're like, "This is a robbery! Nobody..."
Oh, I thought they were gonna try to sneak into the building to rob the place, but nah, they went in guns blazing, bro. Damn.
Fucking move! And they get all of the employees to lie down on the floor and they duct tape their hands and their feet. Then Alan finds the supervisor and he takes that supervisor's set of keys, which open the main vault. So then he goes and he opens the vault, and he and the goons, they start taking the cash out and they load it into the U-Haul. These guys fill this truck with $18.9 million worth of cash.
Bruh, how do you even move that much money, bruh? Like, how do you move that money? Like, that's impossible. You can't just go to a bank and just deposit 18.9 mil into the account and act like it's not suspicious, bruh. Like, what?
Which in today's dollars, it's about $38 million. Damn. Once they're done, just to be cautious, they smash all the security cameras and they steal the tapes that have the evidence recorded on them.
Wow,
Then they
okay.
all get in the U-Haul and they leave.
That just seemed too easy, bro. Like a place that's known to have that much money inside, bro. That seemed way too easy. Like, how did this not take place before? Why isn't it not more security? Like, you feel me? Like,
These guys got the whole heist done in about 30 minutes, which that's not bad for a bunch of amateurs. However, they're not quite done yet. Because then they go back to an apartment, they change back into their normal non-robbery clothes, and they go back to that big house party where they were at earlier, and they start hanging out to make it look like, yo, we never left, which is actually pretty smart.
I was about to say, so far so good. Their plan is working, but like I said, what I feel like ends up happening is one of the guys in this group ended up getting caught and then ended up snitching on everybody else. You feel me? Like,
To solidify their alibi. Meanwhile, the employees back at the armored depot, they're eventually able to free themselves and call the police. And so police come and they investigate. And after looking it all over, they're pretty sure this was an inside job. It was just too sophisticated and the robbers were way too knowledgeable of the layout of this place for it not to be an
like I said, Buddy is literally going to be prime suspect.
employee or a former employee. Not only that, one of the employees who was tied up during the robbery, he apparently recognized Alan's voice and he suspects that he might be involved. So now police are looking into Alan and they start monitoring him to see if he or any of his friends start flashing money around like an idiot.
Yeah, honestly, that is literally one of the worst things you could do after something like that, bruh. If you gonna rob and all this and that and the other, even the people that not go around killing, but after somebody gets their op and kills them, then they go on social media and start showboating it, gloating about it and stuff like that. That's one quick way to get caught up. You feel me?
But here's the thing. Alan and his goons don't flash a bunch of money around. They barely spend any of it right away. Instead, they just wait. They wait for it all to blow over. And 6 months
$18.9 million is not just gonna blow over that quick.
go by. And
6 months go by? Damn, they doing good so far.
now they finally feel like it's safe to start spending and laundering the
I ain't gonna lie, they were really patient waiting 6 months before they started spending money.
$9 million they got. And like some of them are buying homes at foreclosures and then renting them out. They're buying cars, but used cars, and they're
I ain't gonna lie, I'm fleeing the country.
buying them with cash. They even set up fake companies to run the money through. I'm telling you, for a bunch of amateurs, these guys are actually pretty...
Nah, they doing it the smart way though, for real. But I keep saying I'd flee the country, but you can't flee the country with that much cash. You feel me? First, you got to figure out how to get it into a bank account electronically. So yeah, getting businesses and then properties and renting them out, that is a good way of money laundering. You feel me?
Smart. And it looks like they might even get away with this.
Until
2 years go by.
Wow.
And all these guys are still in the clear. They've each got a cut of their money, and none of them have been arrested. No one is really being investigated at this point because police don't have any real evidence against any of them.
Damn.
But then one of the goons finally screws up.
I knew it. Told you.
Because one day he's buying some real estate to use in his money laundering scheme, and of course he's paying for it with cash. And so he's there at the real estate office or whatever, and he hands over a bunch of money to the real estate agent. Then he leaves. And so the real estate agent is counting this money, and he gets to one of the stacks of cash, and he sees that it still has the paper wrapper around the middle that says Dunbar Armored on it, which is the name of the armored depot that Alan and his goons robbed.
And that was probably one of the simplest mistakes, because you could have easily just ripped it off, threw it away, called it a day. But that is the most simplest mistake you could have made, bruh. Like.
And so this real estate agent calls the police, and he reports it. And so, bam, police go and they arrest the goon. Now this goon, he immediately flips on everyone.
I told you, it was going to be one guy that gets caught up, and that one guy that gets caught up is going to end up ratting everyone else out, snitching, bruh.
And so, bam, they arrest Alan.
Damn.
Here's his mugshot. And also, they arrest the other goons. Here's a bunch of their mugshots. And Alan gets sentenced to 24 years in prison. One of the goons gets sentenced to 17 years in prison, while the rest of the goons, they got between 8 and 10 years.
So wait, the one that got caught up and ratted, he got 17 while everybody else got 8 to 10, and then obviously Alan 24. But dang, you would think the guy that ratted would get way less time than everyone else, bruh.
In prison.
That's tough, bro. The one that ended up flipping on everyone still got more years than everyone else. At least the other goons. But Alan obviously got the most since he was the head honcho of this whole ordeal. But damn, alright, well shit. If you guys made it to the end, I greatly appreciate it. Smash the like button, leave a comment, click that bell while you're at it. Till next time, y'all, I'm gonna see y'all next time. I'm out.